Hi, Joy Olson here. Last week a great man and an absolutely superior fundraiser, Jerold Panas, passed away. And I, like so many other fundraisers, loved his books, his sage advice, his sense of humor, and one of my very favorite books I'm holding right now in my hand. It's very easy to read, and it is called Asking. And I can't even tell you the great tidbits that are in here. Chapters: take the fear out of asking, 10 actions to avoid, the most powerful motivators, asking for the right amount, the 4 magic questions, calling for the visit. Jerold Panas used to say, once you get the visit, once you get past the gatekeeper and get that visit, you are going to get a donation. Getting the visit, you're going to have to really work hard at. Overcoming objections, wonderful, and even scripts he gives you. Why donors really give, and the golden rules of fundraising. A wonderful place to go is Sophie.org for fundraisers, because they've got a whole series, an entire series of Jerold Panas's called the Verities series and the Truth. And that's it's so absolutely interesting. And I think there's 16 different verities. And I thought that I'd introduce you to those when we talk about a couple today. And he says that he wanted to answer the question in one of his books, is there a fundraising type? Are they outgoing, people-oriented, backslapping, extremely well-organized, goal-oriented, brilliant? Ooh, this magnificent creature probably doesn't exist, Jerold Panas says. It's really hard, perhaps impossible, to know what makes an ideal fundraiser. So he asks, what are the secrets, the mysteries? What profound bits of wisdom explain why one person racks up one fundraising success after another, while someone else lives out a humdrum career in existence? Why do some simply never make it? Well, Jerold Panas says, here's a quick and easy explanation that seems to sum it up. Success takes common sense, the ability to communicate effectively and easily, the talent to motivate people, a good memory, and the hunger to succeed. The craving to succeed, the drive and determination to win may be the most important of all. Jerold Panas said he spent a day interviewing 50 great fundraisers. And with a few, he spent several days. And he said, I have been around the slippery, greased track for many years and have worked directly one-to-one with probably close to 1,000 men and women in the field. And what I offer here, Jerold Panas says, are some observations and findings about fundraising and fundraisers, the verities, the truths of our profession, canons to work by, tenets you can count on. These are truths and principles that will assure you are the best you can be. And he says, here they are, the verities, each important, many a virtual strike of lightning. Verity number 1, you have great joy in what you are doing. You love it. It brings you mighty happiness. Verity number 2, success is always coupled with perseverance. You don't just luck into success. You have to work hard at it. You have to be disciplined. You have to persevere. Number 3, you are a communicator. You like people. You like to know people. You like to listen to people to get to know them. You like a relationship with people. Verity number 4, you are high touch, low tech. So I wrestle with this one a little bit. I think I might be a little bit the opposite there. But I love technology. But high touch, I really have a tendency to be very high touch in emotional relationships. I really, really fall for my donors. I care about them. So, verity number 4, you are high touch and low tech, according to Jerold Panas, and he knows. Verity 5, he says, this one is obvious. You ask for the order. Sometimes we talk about studies that show how often fundraisers have such great difficulty making the ask. They'd rather do anything than make the ask. They may get the appointment, but they don't want to make the ask. So you have to ask for the order, verity number 5. Verity number 6, great fundraisers are winners. I think they're probably competitive. They like to win. And verity number 7, you have decisive resolve. I think that's really true. You set up your plan. You are decisive about your plan. You are resolved to work your plan. You are resolved and disciplined to get to those planned goals. Verity 8, you delight in the premise that fundraising provides fulfillment to deeds, not words. Deeds that do so much good for so many. Verity 9, you have presence. Verity 10, boldness has genius, power, and magic to it. In other words, be bold. Have bold ideas. Think outside the box and create magic. Verity number 11, you have an unwavering commitment to the institution and a near militant belief in its mission. You absolutely have to believe in your mission to have the passion, to be able to share the passion. Verity 12, if you conceive it, you can achieve it. I love this truth. And I think that that's where inspiration and brainstorming and looking at what other people in the field are doing that is experiencing success, conceive new ideas, and then achieve success with them. Verity 13, you inspire others to action. Inspiration is a great thing, and you can inspire others to action by your total passion and belief in your mission. Verity 14, you have a quality of leadership. Very important. Verity 15, you understand that every grand opportunity is simply masquerading as a problem, a mystery waiting to be solved. Don't you love that? And it's really true, because every opportunity that's a grand opportunity, it's not easy. You are going to have to solve problems to make that opportunity work. And Verity 16, all of the great fundraisers, according to Jerold Panas and his truths, have certain success factors in common. Ooh, isn't that interesting? Want to take a look at Verity 16 a little more deeply to find out what successful factors all successful fundraisers have? Well, this is what Jerold Panas said, and he said this in August of 2014. He says there is a high ambition, a drive to achieve, and immense inner motivation. I found there are high aspirations. They keep raising the bar for themselves. They are always on tiptoes, reaching high, still higher, higher yet. They are audacious. Faith and action, their credo is decide, dare, do. Is that you? For the great ones, their life's philosophy, professionally and personally, is I can do it. They understand if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you're right. For them, the great successful fundraisers, there's no such thing as a casual attempt. Try? Here is no try. There is only do or not do. And in truth, there is simply no not do. Jerold Panas says that there is a brazen belief and fiery faith in the possible. The great fundraisers understand that if you can conceive it, you can achieve it. To them, anything can be done. They truly believe they can do it. And even more divine, they understand they must. The unaccomplished and the undone fester like a bad boil. There is also a very high level of optimism with great successful fundraisers, according to Jerold Panas. They are the kind of people who go after a whale with a harpoon and a jar of tartar sauce. Isn't that cute? I find among the great ones, he says, the great ones that I work with, there is medium to medium high intelligence. But in terms of those who cope and, as they say, street smarts, they are off the chart. What's the old saying? A students become professors, B students become professionals like doctors and attorneys, and C students rule the world. He says that one of the most fascinating scholarships that he's run into is when he worked at the University of Tennessee. He said there was a scholarship for C+ students. It was given by someone who was a C+ student who felt those are the ones who achieve the most in life. Another common factor among very successful fundraisers is their willingness to work long and hard. When they asked Thomas Edison what was the secret of his success, he responded he was successful because he only worked half a day, and he didn't care whether it was the first 12 hours or the second 12 hours. Jerold Panas says the great fundraisers respond to hard work. How do they respond to it? By piling on more. And finally, he says, the great ones are self-confident. That doesn't mean they have a huge ego. It's simply that they understand there is a job to be done. They are working for a noble cause, and they are confident they can do the job. Jerold Panas relates a conversation that he had with Bruce Heilman, who was a former president of Richmond University in Virginia. And he said that Bruce told him he considers this the most important attribute he looks for in a fundraiser. He looks for men and women who have in place the self-confidence that they need. So, do you think you're a great fundraiser? For sure, Jerold Panas was a great fundraiser, and for certain, he recognized great fundraisers. I thought that perhaps it would really be interesting to discuss for a moment Verity number 5, because this is the one that he says is obvious. It's you ask for the order. Now, Jerold Panas added this to the Veritas files in 2013. And he says that Marquita Andrew is 13 years old. And she gives us the answer. She is the all-time champion seller of Girl Scout cookies. She did 12,000 boxes last year. I guess that would have been in 2012. She has led the country for the last several years. And here's what she says. You can't just stand around and chat. You've got to lean forward, look them in the eye, and ask them to buy your cookies. That's it. You've got to ask for the order. Words of wisdom. Jerold Panas says that Ronald Steele wrote a biography of Walter Lippmann. He asked Lippmann why he gave all of his papers and memorabilia to Yale. He was, after all, a graduate of Harvard and a member of the Harvard Board of Overseers. He always assumed that Harvard would want his papers. According to Steele, Harvard, in its usual way, assumed it would get his papers. But it never formally approached him. It never asked him. And here's the moral for all of us. Yale asked for his papers and got them. It even got his beloved baseball hat. So Jerold Panas leaves us with this. It's absolutely amazing what you don't get when you don't ask. I think all of us are grateful for all of Jerold Panas's wisdom, his books, and miss knowing that he's in our fundraising world. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go out and get some of his books. They're absolutely marvelous. Thanks for having been here. Joy Olson of Blockbuster Fundraising. You can find lots more information at joyolsongroup.com, blockbusterfundraising.com, and hundreds of free fundraising videos on our YouTube channel. And a few of those videos are specifically about Jerold Panas and his writings and his fundraising ideas. He absolutely was a stunning talent in our field. Thanks for having been here. See you again next week. I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.